Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, November the 22nd. Race number 10 at Woodbine. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 3 Gray Stakes. 2-year-olds going a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta surface. We are kicking off a 20-cent pick 4. You can download free formulator pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us, and Mike Trainer Kevin Attard is a very strong hand. He has the 3 Stephen, who just won the Coronation Futurity, and he's got the best last buyer performer in the number 1, Hadassah.
Yeah, he does have a strong hand here, and I guess they're both contenders, Dan. I think in particular, though, Stephen, he seems like a pretty nice horse at this stage of the game anyway, and, you know, even though he won a pretty major race last time, I still feel like this horse is trying to figure the game out and has forward to go.
He is still a little bit green, and as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, it appears that there's going to be a good amount of speed set on. The 4 Lucky Score, the 9 Gospel Way, the 6 Lomaki's Gem. These 3 horses have big speed, and that would help a horse like the 3 Stephen, who we see lingering near the back of the pack. Stephen is still learning the game, but he's talented, Mike.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ability. You're right, a fast pace would certainly help his chances as well here. And you know what? Even though he only has 1 win, Dan, it feels like he does have a little bit of an experience edge on some of his main rivals in here as well.
One of those will be his stablemate, the 1 Hadassah. Let's watch Hadassah's career debut. He was no surprise. In an 11-horse field, he was bet down to 9-5. We see Hadassah on the outside. He made a sharp move into contention on the turn. He's going to eventually collar this horse, and he's game. It is not easy to win going 2 turns in your career debut. Hadassah showed a lot of moxie to get this done.
Yeah, I agree. Not easy to win going that distance as a 2-year-old in your first career start. It's not easy to do with a 79 buyer either, Dan. I mean, that's a pretty good figure for this horse first time out. He ran very well.
British Royalty's the number 2. This horse was also a debut winner going 2 turns, came from the back of the pack that day. They ran him against Stephen last time out in the Coronation Futurity, and as in his career debut, he just didn't break very well. Now, the pace was solid. I expected a little bit more in the stretch. Blinkers are coming on for a horse that I think has some upside potential. I wonder if this might be a little bit of a case of too much too soon.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a little surprised that they're running him right back in this race based off the last one, which wasn't, you know, a total disaster, but he never really got involved that day. His maiden one was pretty good. You know, bumped at the start, you know, totally outrunning that race. He came with a really strong finish in there to win that race. But as of now, he's too slow to beat this field.
He finished 5th in the Coronation Futurity. Let's watch the winner of that race, Stephen, who really got a lovely ride from Justin Stein. He hopped a little bit at the start. He, from his far outside post position, was able to drop inside, turning into the stretch, and just everything works out. He gets to the outside here. You see he's a little bit green. He finishes up on his left lead, but he always has this leader, Tiho Mahiko, in his sights, and he's getting away late. I really think the 1 1/8 helped him out there. He's going to have to cut back to 1 1/16. This is a horse, I think, potential for maybe a race like the Queen's Plate next year because distance is his friend.
Yeah, he looks pretty good right now, and you're right. More distance may be better. He did look good winning last time. I agree with you that the trip was very good and an excellent ride in that race just to save all the ground and get clear. But I would point out that the only reason he got clear past mid-stretch is because the runner-up, who was also a very nice horse, left the rest of that field behind. I'm giving Stephen some extra credit for running that horse down because I think Tiho Mahiko would look really good in this race as well. And Stephen, you know, at the end of the day, beat him pretty handily.
Lucky Score, the 4, should show big speed, stretching out 3 furlongs off this performance, going 5.5 furlongs in his Tapeta debut. Now, he got up close to a moderate pace in this race. They're fairly well bunched up turning into the lane. He's going to put away the even money favorite Magic Spin. Works very hard to win this race at 9-1. A lot of questions. A fast pace might work against him. He's got to handle tougher horses and a longer trip.
Yeah, he's got to stretch all the way out here. He did take a big step forward, though, switching over to the surface last time, and he ran pretty well there, but it's a tough stretch out for him against some much better horses. He is bred to go longer, though.
I think the 5 Barrister Tom has an excuse for his most recent race, the Grade 2 Bourbon. He had to be hustled very hard from an outside post position to obtain forward position, and that pace was very, very fast. So he ended up chasing the pace. The pace completely collapsed. I'm not going to hold that race against him. The prior 2 efforts on turf were pretty good. Now, I think he's going to be facing better horses than when he was facing at Kentucky Downs at Arlington, but he might be an interesting price play from close to the pace.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that stuff. I mean, if he's a big price in this race, I'm not going to argue against him. I can't say that I love him, and I agree with you that he has an excuse for his last race. I didn't love his prior 2 wins, but he ran fine in those races. If he's a big price and you like him, you should bet him.
Here's the 6, Lomaki's Gems' most recent performance. This is a maiden victory and another very nice ride, just able to get to the front. Look at those fractions, folks. 25-2, 50-1. He drifts out a little bit in upper stretch, and with that pace, he's supposed to win this race, but he's kind of life and death in the very last 16th of a mile. I think this horse is still learning. I think maybe he kind of lost his focus when he got to the lead, but he's not getting this kind of trip in the gray.
Yeah, it's going to be a totally different situation for him here. So he's going to have to take just a huge step forward, Dan. I mean, you can go back 2 races when Steven just blew him away through the stretch. He's got a lot of ground to make up on that horse.
Distance, the big question here for the 7 Helium, as well as class. He won the display stakes to make it 2 for 2 in his career. I didn't think that was a great running of the display. I didn't think there were very strong horses in there. I like the way Helium won, however. Let's watch this performance. He was in between horses early on, prompting the pace. Now he's on the outside, and he's just going to slingshot past these horses to win pretty easily. He's now earned 2 very respectable Beyer speed figures. I like that he has the 2 7-furlong races under his girth. I think it will help him as he stretches out to a mile and a 16th with some tactical speed.
Yeah, all those things are true. He did win this race very easily. So he looks like a 2-year-old with a good amount of talent. As a matter of fact, in both of his wins, he's won very easily in those races. So they're going to step him up here and stretch him out. I'm happy to see a horse by Ironicus have some talent too, because I was a big Ironicus fan. I don't know, Dan. We'll see what happens here. He can win this race, but he's also 2-1 on the morning line. I would not bet this horse as the favorite in this race. This is a very, very tough field.
I think it's a fair point. It's a tough race to make a line because Steven's coming off the big stakes win where he was 2-1 in the Coronation Futurity. It'll be interesting to see if he takes money. But you're right. I think 2-1 is light on Helium, considering the great unknown about distance. He's trained by Mark Casse, as is the 8 Easy Time. And it just seems like every horse sired by Not This Time can run, and Easy Time is no exception. Let's watch his career debut, and the fans are catching on. They bet this horse down to 7-5. He looked good. He's on the outside here. I know this race is 7 furlongs and he's going to stretch out. I just love the way he blows by this horse. Lenny K, the horse on the lead, was going a decent enough clip. This was not a strong field, but it's just a mile back to everybody else.
Yeah, I agree with you. This horse doesn't have the experience of his stablemate Helium, but this is the Casse horse that I prefer. This horse I thought ran great first time out. Not only did he look really good winning, Dan, leaving that field behind and running down a clear leader, but he, carried on past the wire in there. So it feels like the added distance is not going to be a problem for this horse. I was very taken with his debut.
Gospel Way completes the field. We saw him finish second to Helium in the replay we showed the display. He did some work in that race. He was part of a contested pace. He held on to finish second. He's going to stretch out for the first time here, draws a tough outside post position. He's been solid and consistent from his career, but he's going to have to take a step forward.
Yeah, he ran fine last time, but he has to do better than that, and he's got to do it stretching out for the first time.
Well, let's take a look at our top picks for the Sunday race of the day. You liked Steven last time out. You're going back to him. And again, I think he's just still learning the game. The talent is right there, and he should get a good setup. I'm a little bit surprised you didn't pick the 7 Helium because you're usually the one that's full of hot air on this program. But I went with him. I like his upside potential. I think he's going to track and pounce.
Right. Once that I saw Helium was an underlaid price, I knew you were going to take him. So I'm going to go a different direction. I like Steven. I actually think he's the horse to beat in here. And again, I prefer Easy Time. Of the Casse horses, I like the 8. I almost put him on top. And if the morning line's close to right, Dan, and Easy Time is 6 or in that 6-1 range, I'll probably wind up betting him.
So we won't be expecting big balloons with the 7 Helium, at least on the tote board. 7138 for me, 3871 for Mike, and the grade 3 gray, one of 2 graded stakes races for 2-year-olds at Woodbine on Sunday. Race number 10 kicks off a 20-cent late pick 4 with an approximate post of 5:58 Eastern. Good luck.